stream now. And we will say go live here in just a second. You got some good green room music for us, Ryan?
We'll see.
And then we will start the shares here in just a second. All right, here we go. Share. There they are. You jamming out. I like it.
I'm jamming out. Yeah, that's good tune.
All right, we are 1 minute away, ladies and gentlemen. With 1 minute, and we will be starting the show. You ready for this, Ryan?
Bring it.
Bring it.
Bring it on.
Bring it on, baby. Oh, I know Joan's ready for this. I can already tell.
I got a lag.
Where's that coming from? Is that... Oh. Sorry. I gotta turn that off. I got it. Okay, we're sharing with a few more groups real quick. Okay. 30 seconds. Ready?
Ready.
Welcome to the Biz for Good Show, where we highlight misfits, outcasts, and renegades for the being good and doing good movement. We spotlight people that are changing the world by having integrity and honesty and creating an environment of connection, thus showing the true secret to success and creating a life of greater impact. So come on board and create your own Biz for Good life.
Welcome to the Biz for Good Show. Welcome, I am your host, Bobby Glenn James, along with the ladies and gentlemen in the house, Ryan Pilkington. Ryan Pilkington, welcome to the show, Ryan.
Yo. I'm here.
Oh, we've got a show for you today. I'm so excited. I don't know why. I'm just excited. I'm jazzed up. This is going on 5 years on the Biz for Good show, and we've had so many amazing, fun, cool guests, and of course today is no different. We have an amazing guest today. I'm excited to get her on the show and talk about some cool stuff. Life-changing stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about the show today, Ryan. What are we doing today?
Yeah, so I've been messing up the past couple times, so I will try to redeem myself at this moment.
Yeah.
Right. Today we have Joan Melendez, a passionate patient advocate since her teens, and her purpose is through her healthcare startup, Xcelrate UDI. You may ask, what is Xcelrate UDI, people? It is the partnering and advancing in unique device identifier adoption that helps healthcare providers improve medical devices and biological compliance to reduce the patient risk at point of care.
Saving lives, baby. Saving lives. That's what we're talking about
and
today.
Today's title of the show is The Atrocities in Healthcare led me to saving lives with Joan Melendez. So
Absolutely.
there you go.
Yeah.
I hope I redeem myself.
Joan,
I
we're
hope I
so
can live up to that introduction.
You're going to do amazing. She's going to do great. Really quickly, folks, we want to talk really fast about the checklist. We talk about the checklist all the time, the Biz for Good Show checklist. We want you to go to Biz for Good Show. That's Biz, B-I-Z, the number 4, goodshow.com, and download the checklist. What is the checklist? The checklist is to get you in a Biz for Good mindset and to be ultra successful. We totally believe and we know the more good you do in the world, the more successful you will become. So get the checklist. The whole checklist is just for you to download. They're different weeks and different things for you to check. So you do service. You come from a space of love. You get real with people. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. Get real with people. Take accountability. The second you take accountability, your whole world will change. And of course, grow and connect and make better relationships. Make real relationships. Don't go out to the networking meetings just trying to find that person you can sell stuff to. Make real relationships. And we guarantee you will be more successful. We are both entrepreneurs, business people. The more good I do, the more clients I get, the more happy employees I have, the better the whole freaking world is. Dang it, Ryan.
That's wow. All right, I'll just go.
Let's do it.
Yeah! George. Okay, let's get crazy on the show. Joan, we're introducing Joan to the show. Joan.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, we're excited. We're excited. We've been talking a little bit and kind of getting to know Joan, and already can tell an amazing human being with a spirit and a passion. You know, this freaking huge. You can tell her heart is like this giant. You can just feel it from her. So we're excited to have you on the show and talk and kind of know what's going on with Joan and where you're coming from, and just anyway.
Yes.
I'll shut up, Brian. Is there anything?
No, we're good. We're good.
I say we just jump right into the interview.
No $100 challenge.
Oh, wait. Oh.
$100 challenge.
Oh, yeah. We both. Okay. Yeah, I forgot.
I could say that to the end, but
No. Well. You know what? This is what we're gonna do.
Teaser.
We are doing a $100 challenge today. What that means is we are giving away a $100 crisp $100 bill today, or a check or something. However we get it to you. I don't know what that means, but it will be $100. There's no catch. This is just $100 free. Anybody out there listening, if you're listening to the show, you will get $100 if you do whatever we say at the end of the show.
Yeah, at the end of the show.
I mean, this is legit, no catch. If you're looking to make $100 today, you will if you do what we ask you to do at the end of the show today. So, $100, $100 on the line. All you got to do is listen to this amazing human being, Joan, to the end, and then we will tell you how to get that $100.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tilly two. All right. Okay, we got that out of the way. $100 on the line, people. $100 on the line. But now let's focus on Joan.
Yeah.
Joan Melendez, amazing human being. We just want to get to know you first. We ask people this question: what does Biz for Good mean to you? Why does it mean something to you? When in your life did it become? When did you find your world, your passion, your life, whatever whatever that means to you, Joan?
Yes, thank you. So my world came into fruition when I was in my late teens, seeing how, getting people ready for hospital admissions, and then seeing this lovely man who had needed surgery, but could have been postponed for a little bit. It didn't need to be, that day or the next day, because he had to be medically cleared for surgery. He had fallen and broken his hip. So I saw this lovely man die as a result of not waiting for the proper time for his surgery. And it's all about, communication for patients and for the providers. So that's how I got started in the medical side of really trying to bridge that understanding and knowledge and being that patient advocate and also nurse advocate to make sure that the nurses knew what they were using in the operating room and how it could affect a patient's outcome.
Wow. So what? Yeah, you said you were how old? You were 16?
I was 19.
19, and you were a nurse at the time, or you were?
I was going through my training as a medical assistant, so I'm a certified medical assistant. I never went through RN training. At that point, it was heartbreaking for me, and that's when computerized systems were coming into more play. It was just at the beginning of that. So that's when I decided to take where I knew my talents could go of the information prevention, of helping the providers know, what to be aware of concerning that patient before they had surgery. This guy wasn't medically clear, he had a cardiac problem. So, how we can get that communication, not only for the medical clearance, but fast forward to today's date where we really have to make sure those medical devices that we're using and implanting into people are safe and effective.
So
19 years old. That's
and you just had, this is my life. This is what I'm put on this earth to do.
Yeah, and pretty much.
Pretty much.
I'm 59 now, so it's been a journey.
Wow. No way you're not 59. That's not true. There's no way.
Call a bluff.
So at 19, you realized this was you were going to make a difference. You saw this person and you said, you know what? I'm one human being. I mean, what made you think you could make a difference?
I know that I love communication, and I feel like I'm a master of communication. I've been through that school of hard knocks, and I know how I can at least get people to understand how they need to start looking at information in order to determine whether or not they should proceed with, like a surgical event or something like that.
So we're gonna have to find out about how that works.
Yeah, but
what?
Did you go to like an administrator and say I have some ideas?
Yeah. So because unfortunately he passed, I encouraged the family to go to the hospital and create, what's called a sentinel, ask for a sentinel event. So what they do is they look at everything about that surgery. Why was he rushed into surgery? It was only a hip. People can live with broken hips for weeks. So getting that awareness and getting people to talk and communicate about what is, I have a bad hip, I need to have it replaced. I have a bad hip, but I'm still active, right? So if I'm still active, and I want to be active, there are different hip replacement systems that you can get. If you're just sedentary, there's a system for that. If you want to be able to be active, so people need to understand that it's not just what the doctor is comfortable using, but what is best for you. Why is that doctor recommending that particular system? So again, it goes back to that communication, because I don't think people really realize that they have a choice in what the system is being, what is being used on them.
Yeah, I mean, you just take the doctor's word because he's the doctor.
Well, yeah. And and if you look at recalls, for example, of medical devices, there was an 800% increase in 2 years, between 2016 and 2018. If you look at the FDA data on recalls, it's on average 72 days behind in notifications. So, there are items being used that are recalled, and it's just because the notification hasn't gotten there yet, right? Wow. So it's like, how can we do that prevention? So that's where, I took that fast forwarding, back when the beginning when we were just starting to be able to communicate by fax, You know, and
high tech back then.
high tech back then, right? So, you know, fast forward to now where the government, you know, said to medical device manufacturers, hey, you guys need to be more innovative. So we have more medical devices coming on that are based on older versions, that they're bypassing some of the 510K processes because they're, you know, they're basically getting grandfathered in on these new devices. So again, how do patients know that? You know, how do nurses know really what they're using, handing off to surgeons into the operating theater?
So how does that? Is it a company? It's a software? Is it?
Yeah.
So how does you know, the atrocities, you recognized, you know, what was going on, and you said, hey, I've got to do something. So what have you created? I kind of want to because I don't understand what that is. Is it a system? Is it something
it's an application.
It's that simple.
App.
It's a software that hospitals use.
Hospitals and providers use, yes, that they can go in and just by using a barcode scanner, they can scan any medical device. So UDI in 2018, the government recognized that, you know, they recognized earlier, but they finally got, you know, to where they put the UDI into play, into a regulatory requirement. So
what do you mean UDI? Just so
UDI
the listeners.
is a unique device identifier for medical devices.
Unique
device
identifier.
Unique device identifiers.
Oh,
right,
that's
because
right.
It's kind of like a reference number or your VIN number, right?
Ah.
So when you're driving your car, your VIN, if you need to do something about that car, you will automatically get a postcard, even if you owned that car 10 years ago.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because they track you to that VIN. So the same thing was really needed for medical devices. There wasn't anything until the UDI, the unique device identifiers. So now on all medical devices, there are barcodes on medical devices now on the packaging, so that when we use these in the operating room, we scan them prior to use. And what our application does is when we're scanning that, it reads that barcode, it validates it, makes sure it's not counterfeit, and it makes sure it's not recalled or expired. I've been in hundreds of operating rooms where were handed off to the field were expired items. I walked out with bag full.
And you said counterfeit.
Yeah, that
wait a
too.
minute. Are you telling me that there are counterfeit surgical devices out there that?
No, there was surgical cement last year.
Oh my!
You can't take cement out.
Oh my gosh!
You know, so and the good thing with our app, we're the only one that actually does this, is we program into our system so that the minute they go to scan that device, we train the nurses on reading the barcodes. We train them on everything, you know, to validate, to make sure that it is a legitimate item. Because when you looked at that cement, it looked just like the real product.
Wow.
The only difference was there was lot number discrepancies.
Wow. That is interesting.
And I mean, and now we have
Who
to look
knew?
at COVID.
Dude, those people should be arrested. What?
Biz for
Well,
bad.
yeah. And COVID introduced a big hole.
Oh my
We
gosh.
have these EUAs, right? Emergency use authorizations.
Says hurry up, you can just go use it.
You can go ahead and use it, right? So remember, Pfizer is on an EUA. I'm sure you guys have heard EUA.
Yeah, we don't watch the
emergency use
news.
Authorization. You don't watch the news. So Pfizer has, you know, every single drug has an emergency use authorization until they are granted full authorization. Then they drop off of the EUA. But when we look at the masks and the PPE, right? A lot of those came into the country last year because we were running out. We ran out, right? So when they were flooding in, the FDA granted these companies emergency use authorization. Since then, a lot of them have been removed from the market. But if I go onto like a website for acupuncturists, I'll see a recalled item for sale on that particular resource. Because again, it's how do you know that emergency use authorization was removed for that manufacturer.
Wow.
You wouldn't unless you've
No,
got your
you
app.
don't.
Unless you have your app.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and we made it easy. You know, we actually developed another application called UDI Clearinghouse. So if you go to udiclearinghouse.com, what we have there is we've taken all of the FDA databases for medical devices for the recalls. There are over 13 medical device recall databases at the FDA. So, and they don't all have the same data, right? So we've taken all of the data sets from the FDA and combined it into one usable application, a portal, you know, so that anyone can go and look and see all the recalls for any medical device. And we go, you know, we don't restrict. If you go to the FDA, you get 500. That's all you get. You get a return of 500. Same thing with COVID, right? With the adverse events for the vaccines. You would be surprised to see the number of adverse events that we're not hearing about and the number of deaths from the vaccines. It's not the vaccine that's unsafe. It's the handling. It's that emergency use authorization and how, you know, we're handling that medication.
Wow.
So there's a lot to go into medical devices and drugs and biologics. You know, people don't really realize, you know, what really is happening out there. And again, the FDA, you know, they're broken into different divisions. So medical devices is handled one way. Biologics are handled a different way. Drugs are handled a different way. So, you know, we have that UDI, that unique device identifier on medical devices. We don't have it on tissue. We're asking them to put it on tissue because it makes it safe. The nurse can scan that barcode, parse all the information about that appliance or that tissue or whatever they're using, and they can parse everything that's on the package. But again, we're also validating, making sure it's not recalled or expired.
Wow. It's interesting because it's something so simple but so huge.
Yeah.
So simple, so huge.
Yeah.
So huge. You know.
That's. I'm
Yeah,
always
and if we
amazed.
look, and if we look at today, I can, you know, like here I'm going to show you guys. So what I'm showing here, this is just sample labels of how we safely protect patients for immunizations. What you're supposed to do, if you look at that emergency use authorization, when you are preparing the syringes, each vial has multiple syringes. So, you know, when you look at the Pfizer vials and the Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson, you can get between 5 to 12, depending on which product you're using, syringes out of that particular device, out of that particular vaccine. And one of the things that the EUA states is that you have to label the syringe with the date and time of the first draw out of that vial, because after 6 hours, that is no longer good. You have to throw that away. So, you know, the other part too is you're supposed to get an instruction. They're called an IAS, information fact sheet, IFS, information fact sheet. And I didn't get one when I just had my vaccine. I was you're supposed to be also told about VSafe. I wasn't told about VSafe. You know, thank God I had no adverse events. But what we do with our system is we want to make sure that the patient is aware too, not only the provider. So on the vaccine, what they do is we put both of these barcode labels on the patient's vaccine. One goes right to the CDC website about that medication, and the other one is for reporting adverse event. We make this so hard on people, and we shouldn't be. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do in order to, you know,
That's
advance communication. You know, shows like this are great because you didn't know about the medication, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're looking at just even the vaccine for Pfizer, for example, there's a diluent that's added to it. And a lot of people didn't know that, you know, so there's 0.9% sodium chloride that's added to the vial. And then it has to be inverted. You can't shake, So there's these different instructions that have to be followed in order for you to safely have that vaccine. Again, the vaccines are safe. They didn't have any problems with them during trials, right? But we're starting to see these adverse events after, like there was 1,400 people who got air. They didn't get anything. Oh. And then there was the Oakland fiasco where, they got the wrong dose. That wouldn't happen if you were following the emergency use authorization and making sure that the syringes were labeled when they're pulled from the vial.
That's amazing. I just, as a layman that's not in medical world or whatever, you just don't think, you think, oh, the medical people have got it all figured out. They know exactly, my life is in their hand because they know what they're doing. Right?
They try. I mean, everybody tries, but again, it's that information. So how are we training these vaccinators, right?
That's cool.
The vaccinator that gave me my injection, she had no idea.
Oh, gee.
Wow.
And she was not expecting to encounter me either. So.
Uh-oh.
You shook it. You shouldn't have shook it.
Yep. Did you invert it?
So.
And then the Johnson & Johnson has different instructions, right? They're all different.
Wow.
Well, my wife's scheduling my vaccine right now, and so any suggestions?
Yeah, I want to make sure that you guys all read the instructions for the information about it that you should, right? You go to the CDC website. There's one on the Moderna vaccine. There's one on the Pfizer. And we can put those, I'll send those to you guys so you can put them in the comments section.
Do that. Yes, send us all that and we'll put it in the show notes for sure.
Yeah, because it's important. It goes back to why this all started. I want to do no harm. I want to make sure that what can I do to help my nurses make sure they can go home at night. They work so hard during the day. They don't, a lot of times you don't even get a break during surgery.
So true.
You're there for 9-10 hours. You barely get a bathroom break.
I think the nursing industry, nurses, just they are heroes, just unbelievable human beings. Because I know I could not do what they do. I couldn't. Yeah. I just can't. And I'm so grateful that there are people in this world that do what they do, because they're the heroes, the true heroes of this earth, in my opinion. Cool. Last thing, can we ask for a gold nugget tidbit for the listeners? Something you can give the listeners that they can take with them.
Yes, I want everyone. I'm going to be a nag about the vaccines.
Very good.
Really, the CDC, the scientists, I can't say enough about how I appreciate everything the scientists and the doctors have done. So there's some really good data out there at the CDC website. Just make sure before you go have your immunization that you follow the information. Like a friend of mine scheduled his vaccine, but he just had immunizations just 6 days ago. It states clearly on the emergency use authorization that you should not have an immunization within, I think it's 15 days or so prior to your vaccine.
Oh, wow.
Please be aware. It's a great thing to do. Get your shot. I want everybody to get their shot, but I also want you to be aware of of what you're putting in your body. Are you taking Zyrtec? Are you taking any antihistamines? Look at what it says on the CDC website about, drugs that you may be on prior to going and getting that immunization. You want to reduce any potential side effect that you could have.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a lady in Utah that passed away.
From the vaccine?
Apparently, a couple days
And
later.
Again, it's not the vaccine.
Getting it.
How was it administered?
Yeah, sorry.
Did it stay within the time limits? Yeah. If I look at all of the data on the CDC website on VAERS, which is the Vaccine Adverse Event database, we actually export that because they are so far behind. Wow. And again, you can only get X amount of records. But as I'm looking at that data and analyzing that record, that data, I can trace it to a lot number if it's been reported. And that's why this is important to label syringes, because we want to know what lot number, because it could be traced back to Was it handled misappropriately? Was it shaken? Was it, was it out of the freezer for too long? So there are certain things. Did you have a pre-existing condition? Like when you have advanced allergies, if you're using like an EpiPen or something like that, the studies are still ongoing about people with allergies and the COVID vaccine.
Wow.
That's one of the questions that they are asking when you go and have your immunization.
Whoa.
So please be aware, make sure you're informed on your health care.
Wow. Yeah. This has been a great show. This has been really, really good information and kind of opened my eyes, I should say, to we should pay more attention.
Yes.
to just about to everything. But Joan, thank you so much for being on the show. Is there any links or anything that we can put on to people can get a hold of you with questions or anything like that?
Yes, they can definitely reach me at joan@xcelrateudi.com or come through the clearinghouse, udiclearinghouse.com, and always reach out. info@Xcelrate or info@UDI Clearinghouse. We are 100% here to help make sure people are informed.
Wow.
And Xcelrate starts with an X, not
X, yeah, XCLRATE UDI.com.
Awesome. Well, cool. Oh, I guess we're at the end of the show. We should probably tell people how they make $100. Or let's make this clear. We're only giving away $100 to one person. And what does that person have to do, Ryan, today to get that $100?
The first person that emails us, we love the show, or we listen to the show. Probably we listen to the show.
And I want my $100.
I want my $100.
I want my $100. And they
or
email.
Or you can pay it forward.
Or you can pay it forward. Yeah. And we want you to send it to a specific email address. We want you to send it to the info@bizforgoodshow.com address. info@biz4goodshow.com. The first person that we get an email from saying, I love the Biz for Good show, I want my $100, we will do it. But there's a catch, right? One catch is you got to be on the show. You got to come and say, hey, I got my $100, so we can prove that we gave away $100, right?
Yep, that's virtually or in studio. We prefer in studio.
Yeah, virtual or in studio. If you're in Utah, we would love for you to come to the studio and have you in studio to hand you a $100 bill. If you're outside, then we'll send you a check or some crap like that. But there's no catches here. This is $100. We're just giving you $100. So first person to email us on the date that it comes in, boom, when it comes into the email, you get it. We'll contact you and tell you what's going to go on, when we're going to have you on next time. And we're going to do this until it happens. We don't know if anybody live is going to do it. So even if this comes out in 2 weeks, first person to send us the email that gets, because some people just think things are catches and they just don't do it, right?
Yeah.
Now,
what's the email again?
info@bizforgoodshow.com. Yeah. Awesome. We're going to wrap it up, Ryan?
Yeah, thanks so much for being on the show, Joan. We really appreciate you. And
so good. Thank you.
Coming from Seattle.
Thanks for having me.
Is that right? Seattle?
Yep.
Seattle, Washington. That's
Seattle.
Polar fleece stuff.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, we always end the show with a hashtag Be Good, Do Good. We say it 3 times. We get louder and crazy on the 3rd time. You can join us if you'd like, Joan.
Or you can just look at us and think, oh my gosh, these crazy people.
Or if you're driving.
Yell if you're driving. This is a good way to get out some energy and start to feel a little bit better.
Anyways, here we go. Hashtag
Be good, do good. Hashtag Be good,